Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome to another MX vs ATV Reflex custom track gameplay on the channel, where today we're going to be playing Green Corner SX by a username NikDeLion or NikDeLion. Don't know exactly if I'm getting that right or wrong. So apologies to Nick for possibly botching your name. I believe we've even done some of his tracks before, but you know, I'm terrible at this whole reflex thing. I don't. That was Jeremy's deal, and then he just up and left, and I don't know what's going on. But yeah, this track was another production of Mr. NikDeLion's. He's done a couple recent releases. Mostly, I think he's collaborating with Darkslides19, who's got that new website of his up, where he is posting links to new tracks that come out. Since Reflex Central still is kind of on the DL. I'm not too sure what happened to Jamie T. Yeah, I played one of his more recent Supercross tracks not too long ago. I was going to do a custom track gameplay on it, but 1,500 people already did videos on it, and 90% of the time I do a video on a Reflex track that every other YouTuber's already done. I get a slur of comments like, X YouTuber has already done this review, you're late to the party, or whatever, which, quite frankly, I don't really care. I'm just doing it to have fun and because I want to show off some of these awesome tracks. But I kind of understand their point in saying that, like, you kind of want to show off a track when it's newer, fresher, and people get a chance to see it. So I wanted to do this track because I saw it was posted, I believe, this week even, and just kind of get down to business and see what's going on with that. But yeah, just another cool new track by him. I'm totally botching it. I just put my phone on the ground, so that's why I stopped mid-corner. But a couple things that I want to talk about with this track that I like, because there are several things that I like about this track. I will also touch on a few things that I don't like, and hopefully I don't get thrown under the bus too bad for commenting on some negative parts of this track, but there are a few things I think I would like to talk about. But the positives first, of course, are that it's another, good, flowy, fun Supercross track. It's challenging, which I like. It's got a real tough nature to it, where it's not just easy to kind of pop through things, and you actually have to time stuff. Like this rhythm section is ridiculously hard to get smooth. That's probably the first time I've gotten it smooth in the 10 laps that I've played this track so far. But really what I like most about this track is how kind of even retro SX it feels a little bit, like very unorthodox rhythms. All the jump heights are kind of different. Nowadays, Supercross tracks are so cookie cutter, where you get the same 3-foot singles, same 5-foot singles mixed in with a bunch of tabletops, the Supercross triple here and there, the same size whoops every weekend. But if you look at tracks back in the 80s and 90s, Supercross tracks back then had like random tall tabletops in the middle of it, and then rhythm sections that looked more like modern day endurocross sections, where they're really trying to throw you off your game and make you do some weird kind of quirky things. And I like that because I felt like it challenged the riders and made them think kind of outside the box to try to connect lines. And this track has several line options to choose from. It's not just like there is one fast line and you have to do it. There's several ways to get through a rhythm section, and you don't have to follow that one main line to do it. You can branch out, find your own line, do something different. And I'll try to point out some of those nuances that I'm talking about at some point in this video, but most of the time I usually forget about the different lines that I could be picking when I get to those rhythm sections. But either way, I like that there's that aspect of it, that it's not just a very super standard Supercross track. It's got a lot of different sections in it too, like for example that over-under bridge, and then you come back and there's a sand section leading into it, and then some like kind of challenging triples and like these longer doubles in the back. Like, you could put a real standard Supercross rhythm section lane in a lot of these different sections, and it would make the track flow maybe a little bit better, but it also would be kind of boring after a little bit because you could pretty easily connect the same lines. Whereas this one, because it's challenging, because you have to kind of think about what you're doing and be able to get the proper momentum and drives to clear some of these things, I feel like that's kind of the fun aspect of it. So that's some of the positives. Some of the negatives is that I do feel like that sand section I just went through right there, it is pretty damn hard to get a good enough drive through it to be able to triple out of that, which it looks like you should be able to. And also the ruts. in that sand section and other sand sections on the track are kind of unforgiving. Particularly that other sand section before the over-under, or going through the over-under bridge, I guess. The ruts don't really help you in any shape or form. They're just kind of there. So that's one thing I think he could, you know, maybe clean up just a little bit. Not that it's a bad thing. Maybe he's trying to do that on purpose to make you really focus on getting a good clean run, which is cool. But I'm just, you know, pointing out some things that I guess I don't like about the track. Not that it's a bad thing. It could be a good thing. But it's just things I have noticed I don't like. I also am not the biggest fan of the whoops. Yeah, they're kind of cool because they're big, they're challenging, they're hard to get through, but they're the same set of whoops on both sides of the track, because there's one on kind of the front side, I guess, of the track by the starting line over here, on the other side of this berm, and then there's also one at the very back section of the track that you hit really fast. And like I said, it's cool that they're big, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's, you know, whatever. But I'm going to crash in one of these sets of whoops one time, or I might even do it on purpose on the last lap just to show you how unbelievably tall these whoops are. Like, you can't even ride through them. That's how tall they are, which, again, kind of cool because it's a little bit more unique, a little bit more of a challenge. But at the same time, I think that's one thing that he could have toned back just a little bit to make it so that, you know, the whoops weren't the worst thing about the track, you know, like the hardest thing to get through, because some of these sections are honestly quite challenging to actually make it through the section. And it would be nice if a couple parts of the track allowed you to have a break, but most of this track is pretty much like you have to be on it and on top of your game, and getting the sections pretty well dialed, because you can see how bad I'm riding when I stop connecting the lines. Like, it's 3 or 4 corners of just bad miscues and improper flowing and all sorts of weird things. But here's the whoop section, the first whoop section that I'm talking about, and I mean, like, it's ridiculous. Like, those are not whoops anymore. They're just like giant boulders in the ground, I guess. I don't really know what to call them. I mean, there's this small whoop section, but I don't know if I really count that because you kind of just float right over it. It's this back whoop section, though, that you kind of jump into it. Stupid wall. Wall jump's cool, but I'm not a big fan of wall jumps anyway. But the back whoop section is long. Like, you jump into it and you have to land pretty good on one of the ruts, or one of the whoops, I mean, to be able to actually get through the section pretty cleanly. First of all, you have this little section leading into it, which always makes you go really fast in this whoop section. And I made that whoop section look way easier than it is that time. But I'm telling you, it's a challenge to get through. And just kind of one of my little not favorite parts of the track. Other than that, I like a lot of the little nuances about the track, like I mentioned, you know, these jumps right here being a little bit smaller, like a little bit more of a different style of a rhythm section, make you think about it. I really like this line right here where you have to come through this corner, check up to kind of roll this to get a run to triple this, and I still haven't even got the triple clean. Like, I'm casing it just a little bit every lap. But if you send that roller, there's no chance of clearing the triple, and I like that. You have to, again, you know, it's something a little outside of the box. It kind of reminds me of some of these Supercross tracks back in like 2009 through 2011, where they would put a really small little double right before a Supercross triple coming out of a 180 corner. And I remember 250F guys like crunching the crap out of triples, trying to get over one of those sections, because it was such a momentum killer for like the 250Fs. Like, you come out of the corner, you got this small little step over pop double thing, and then it's right into a Supercross triple. Like, you had almost no momentum to do it. It kind of reminded me of the 125 days, when they weren't even able to clear triples out of the corner sometimes because they had no drive. These 250Fs were just completely sapped of any momentum or power to try to do these Supercross triples. And it was a challenge, you know, it was something different to separate the quote-unquote men from the boys. And in some cases, doing that to a track makes the racing a little less exciting because it separates the guys a little bit more. But you also get some really cool, you know, new innovative lines discovered by the top guys that the other guys are just unwilling to try. Not talking about the Supercross tracks, but you have these tracks like this, for example, where there's so many different options available to you in the rhythm sections that, you know, James Stewart was classic at this, busting out big old quads in the middle of it. But look at this. I mean, look at how long it's going to take me to get through this whoop section now, just because I crashed in it. Like, you get stuck on the whoops, and I mean, no question about it. There's C-class riders that at a Supercross race also get stuck in the whoops, but it's more or less because they don't really know how to go over the whoops, and less so because the whoops are so big. Yes, whoops in Supercross are big. We kind of all know that, but they're not that steep and, you know, realistically unrideable as this track has presented them. But that's just one of the small pet peeves I have on the track. Otherwise, I like this track. There's a reason why I do these videos, and it's not just because I'm, you know, wanting to make a video to just talk. I really do like actually showing off these tracks for, you know, a specific reason, so you guys have the opportunity to download them and play them if you want. You don't have to. You could watch this video and think this track looks like crap and not download it. It kind of sucks from my point of view that my riding is so bad in this game that I can't make the track look better, because someone that's actually good at this game could certainly make the track look a little bit more fun and exciting to ride. I am not that guy, unfortunately, and that's kind of why I had Jeremy doing our reflex stuff, because he was better at the game than me. But I digress. I am dealing with trying to just get through the reflex video stuff when I can. I'm trying to do more different, branching out, doing different videos in general. At some point, I am going to live up to my word and actually have a subscriber ride day in all these various games, and it'll be part of our regular content on our channel. It might be even a weekly thing, subscriber ride days in different games. You know, Sim, Reflex, the new MXGP series, even Supercross Encore, and then any other games that we're playing on the channel that don't have anything to do with motocross per se, but maybe we'll get together and do some little subscriber funsies. So be on the lookout. I've been posting stuff on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts a lot more often, and you can get links to all those in the description below. Or you could just look us up by name, Start Your Systems on Instagram, SYS on YT on Twitter, and then just facebook.com/Start Your Systems is the Facebook one. So don't miss out on any of that exciting information. I do have people messaging me every once in a while saying, hey, why don't you, you know, ride with your subs one day? And I'm like, heck yeah, like I'd love to, but unfortunately I just don't have a ton of time to do that right now. You know, like for example, I'm making this video at 9:15 at night, and I got to be up at 5 a.m. for work the next day, and it's just, you know, constant grind right now. Pumping out content, working on some new updates, which I promise they're going to be exciting. You guys are going to be pumped about some of this new stuff we've got coming. And I say that all the time, but I really mean it. It's coming. It's been a slow, steady process. Pushed back a couple things that I didn't want to, but you'll see it, the reaps of the reward, or whatever you want to call it, from the hard work that's being put into some of this stuff soon enough, my faithful and loyal viewers on our channel. But yeah, this track is awesome. Well done on Green Corner SX, NikDeLion. I'm excited to see more releases he's got coming, because I know he's got more coming, and just in general more reflex stuff to do. Approaching the end of this final lap here, so obviously just kind of making my final rounds that I can talk about in this video. If you guys like this video and you want to be more involved in helping us grow, please don't be afraid to like it, subscribe, and tell all of your lovely friends and family about us. Trying to make it a little bit more of a friendly family atmosphere around here these days, given that I know we have somewhat of a younger YouTube audience. And it's nice to have a broad spectrum of people watching our videos nonetheless. But as always, I really do hope that you guys enjoy the content that we put out, and this video as well. And if you did like it, or if you didn't like it, there are likes and dislikes button down below for you to be able to click and push and tell us what kind of content we should be making by your vote, because we live in a free country, and that's how you tell us what things are gonna wet your whistle or not. But yeah, another one in the books here. Reflex, custom track, Green Corner SX, NikDeLion. Download it in the description below. I hope to see you guys in our future videos, but Kellen on SYS checking out again. See you guys later.